Chapter 5 Fate's Reckoning. As I marched out of my cell, the light hit my face. I hadn't seen the sun in days. Its blaze unrelenting, warming my skin. I hear the angry mob of townsfolk shouting, "Adulteress! Traitor! Temptress!" each word heavier than the last. The guards tightened their grasp, their fingers digging into my arm. As I walk towards the executioner's block, the chants only get louder. I can only think of my daughter, Elizabeth, my sweet girl, and the pain that will be inflicted by not having a mother. My final hope is for George's plan to succeed, for if it does not see through, Elizabeth will be left to the wolves in court. As I stood in front of the executioner's block, I looked up to face the crowd. In the back row, my lady Jane stood teary-eyed, along with my other ladies. Henry was nowhere to be found, though I knew he would not attend. He's most likely celebrating my death with a feast and his newest mistress, reveling in his newest accomplishment, my death. The townsfolk gathered around. Oh, how quickly they turned against me. I was once loved by the people, but now they whisper behind my back. The executioner, whom a guard tells me Henry ordered from France to ensure my death was sealed with a sword rather than an axe for a quicker, more merciful execution. Perhaps that was Henry's final act of mercy. He stands tall in front of the crowd. With a chilling calmness and a low voice, says, "By the king's command, Anne Boleyn, Queen of England, shall be executed for incest in which she committed with her brother, George Boleyn. The king, in his solemn judgment, sees fit for Anne Boleyn's crimes as a betrayal seen in the eyes of the realm, the church, and God, shall result in death, for incest is a sin and cannot be permitted nor go unpunished. Therefore, on this day, May 19th, 1536, justice shall be served. The law has spoken. The Queen shall face a death on this fateful day. Anne Boleyn, please state your final words." I try to see past the fear and the tightness in my chest that's slowly suffocating me. I, Anne Boleyn, stand here before you, under God's will, to face the king's judgment. Judgment based on lies. The crowd stood in shocked silence. I have been sentenced to death under a false accusation, for I am not being condemned for incest, but because I am a woman in power. As a woman, my voice has been silenced, my truth has been ignored and twisted. Because I did not fulfill my duty as a woman to provide a male heir, I have been casted aside and discarded by those who believe I have failed them. This is why, today, I shall not let my voice die in vain. Women in society have been silenced, wrongfully treated, and unjustly accused for centuries by men who think we are nothing more than property. But allow my death to be a beacon for change, for a future where women lead and rule. I face my end with a clear conscience, knowing God will determine my fate, fair and true. As I stared at the townsfolk, and they stared back, their expressions were a mixture of confusion, shock, and disbelief. I stared as long as possible, trying to freeze the moment. Though, as the clock struck 3, I knew it was time. I began to kneel. My knees touched the cold, unforgiving stone. I placed my hands on the executioner's block. My fingers grazed the rough and rigid edges from the past strikes. All those before me, their fate sealed here. I lowered my head onto the block, and for a moment, the world fell silent. All I could hear was my heartbeat. I closed my eyes, bracing myself for the inevitable. The cool air blew through me, as if I were invisible. Yet, I could feel the anticipation from the crowd in the air. Suddenly, I felt the wind of the blade as it sliced through the air, the only warning before the strike. The sword hit the back of my necklace. I held my breath. Then, I vanished. I found myself standing in my brother's spellroom, momentarily lost, and unsure if this was the afterlife. I raised my hand to reach for my necklace, yet it was gone. The plan worked. It worked! I chanted into the empty room, a rush of excitement and disbelief rushing through my body. However, I quickly realized that there was not much time to celebrate. The townsfolk will begin to believe I am a witch. They will want my head more than ever. At that moment, George walked in with a smirk on his face once again. And to think you ever doubted me. My apologies, brother. Thank you. Though our tribulations do not end here, I'm afraid. I said with my voice soft and grave, as he unpacked his satchel and said, Do you have a plan? We must make the townsfolk believe I'm sent from God. Are you mad? Why ever would they believe that? They don't know the true reason for my disappearance. We can alter the story. I can tell them God intervened during my execution. That's why I vanished. The king will still remain an issue. The people will not abandon their loyalty so quickly. I know. What if we expose the truth? Say he's not fit to rule. Do you truly believe they will rally behind you, Anne? We have no choice but to try. And if we don't, Henry will do everything in his power to find and slaughter us. We must make the people believe I'm a savior, the one chosen by fate to lead them. We will still remain outnumbered. As of now, the king remains on the throne, and with the members of the Privy Council by his side, they won't let you become the ruler without a fight, Anne. Then we must fight back, no matter the outcome. We shall expose Henry and the members of the Privy Council for what they truly are. Henry, a puppet on strings, controlled by the most vicious, power-hungry men in court who seek to take down any woman in power. With hope, they will believe I am the righteous leader of England, and they will follow. For a brief moment, we stood in silence, and then George, with a grin, broke the stillness. Then we shall begin plotting. But as I stood before George, the weight of our plan settling in, one question echoed in my mind. What if we fail, and the king's wrath comes for us both?